good morning. So the cap, come to Badi Mai. Hope you're doing well. One Sao. I've got that right. Saturday here in Thailand. It's good Saturday morning. About 9 o'clock, half past 9, basically, for instance, here in Thailand. And it's game day! Yes, we finally got to come round to another game. Oh my god, it's a slug, innit? I used to hate to a point what's it called, every game every 3 days, because I got worried because of the injuries, etc. But now I'm really getting a bit, oh god, I'm craving for football. And Manchester City playing, and we've only got one game, for instance, a week, and it's just, and again, for instance, if you lose, etc., you've got the right to, every 3 games, you've got a right to, what do you call it, to turn it around. But now, for instance, you've got to wait 7 days, so if you don't lose, you've got 7 days of inquests. Anyway, but we didn't lose against Palace, etc. We could have lost 2-0 down. People said 3-0 down, the game's over. I'm not so sure. Because again, we had a few chances. But, if it wasn't for King Kev, Kevin De Bruyne, sign him up. KKK, King Kev, sign him up. Okay, don't care what people are saying, sign him up. Man's been playing with an injury, for God's sake. I think we got too many youngsters here who think people are over 30, for instance, too old. Anyway, never mind. That's another conversation for another day. But it's game day here. For instance, for me, I think it's about 3 o'clock kickoff, so it's about 10 o'clock kickoff. 10 p.m. kickoff, so I've got to wait all day. And so for instance, happy Easter, by the way, for instance. So for other Christians out there, as I am one, etc., Catholic, Roman Irish Catholic, should I say. So happy Easter to all the people, for instance, who are offended by my comments. Happy Easter, go and do one. England is a Christian country, and Easter, for instance, I've been celebrating Easter all my life. So not as much since I've been in Thailand. Again, for instance, I spend a lot of time. I'm very happy to embrace Thai culture, Thai Buddhism, Songkran, and whatever. And I'm more than happy. I've got Buddha, I've got everything, just as much, because again, I'm living in Thailand. I'm embracing the culture, the country, not trying to change it into my own, embracing it. And that's what foreigners need to do. Embrace where you're living, learn the language, learn the culture, and you'll feel better off. If you want to be distant and being a bit more petty and I want to live my life, then I'm sorry, it's not going to work for you, regardless, for instance, and you're going to end up a bitter, nasty person. So embrace the culture, learn the language, and for instance, you'll be a happier person. Right, let's move on. So, Everton, for instance, right, okay, first of all, we just got to do a few transfer updates, etc., for instance, or ironing or whatever you want to call it, cleaning up. So, for instance, so it appears that a new name has come across our, for instance, mists in the last 24 hours. Again, it could be Bull, could be who knows, whatever. I'll just mention it. So just gets them off my chest, etc. But it appears that, for instance, Man City are setting up our interest in chasing Ibrahim Mazar, according to reports. For instance, there's a Man City, a German-born midfielder, a mid-Bayern Munich interest as well. Don't know the guy, but it's again, for instance, it's Samuel. For instance, I keep on the radar. When it's going to happen, who knows going to happen? You never know. Again, there's going to be a lot of these transfer rumours going on. I looked on News Now before, for instance, and all it was transfer. Who we're going to get. And again, I like Pep in the press conference, keeping everything close to the chest, not allowing the media, vultures, to anything. One thing I'm quite certain will be a City player next season will be Andrea Cambiasso. I'm putting this on my 9 out of 10 on my confidence meter. We're going to get this guy. Could have got him in January, willing to come to City, but the price was a bit ridiculous. So I think we'll do a negotiation, 60 million. I think they wanted 70. We want 60. I think we'll probably figuring around about that. Just hope Tiki's not been, because he's a right back, a left back, whatever kind of thing. He can play in midfield, so I think he's versatile. Great player, and I think, for instance, he'll be ideal for City. So I'm expecting this guy to come and City. Right, okay, let's move on to the game. What Pep's been saying. Just have a chat about Nico Riley. Nico Riley's I've been chatting about his time at City. He's talking. He said he was talking about Ilkay Gundogan. I try to pay attention to Ilkay. I love all the movements he makes, the positions he takes, and I had to mark him in a few training sessions. I've always it's always caught my attention, and how he can get out of situations. I was always in the right spot and chooses the right path. The thing is, again, there's a lot of City fans now want the old guard, should I say, out, and then the new lot in. The thing is, I do believe, I've always said this, you need the combination of the two, the old guard and the new, right? And the thing is, because the likes of Nico Gonzalez, do apologise, Nico Gonzalez, has come in and he's learning from these guys. He's watching these guys. He's been educated by these guys. Pep can tell you something, but a player of that Ilkay Gundogan's, quality you can learn from these guys. So it's easy to say, okay, his leg, get rid of him, blah blah blah. But I think, for instance, the likes of, I think you can be a bit too hasty. You got to be careful. You've got to have that balance in the team of old and young, right? Okay, our new players hungry, and older players, for instance, who are smart enough to get a game done. Because it's tactical. It really is. Games are tactical nowadays. So you've got to be very careful about what's, young players are going gung-ho. You look at Chelsea, perfect example. A lot of young players, a lot of not understanding, and, for instance, a little bit of bitchiness. See the penalty, when they had that penalty issue, they're all going crazy. Oh, we're taking penalties. So you've got to have that balance. I've always said this. Okay, so how he's feeling about settling at Man City. For sure, feel part of the group already. Everyone's very welcoming. Young players, older players, everybody's really close. We have a lot of fun in the dressing room, playing some games before training, and they really enjoy it here. It's a really nice. It's really nice. This is not new. I've heard this many times. Really good tight bond. Man City really look after you. That's the reason my players stay for 10 years, because you can win things, good atmosphere, get paid well. For instance, what the Man City set up doesn't get praised enough by the media, and why should it? Because they're bitter. Okay. Anyway, so on his relationship with Pep Guardiola, it's really nice. I've learned a lot since the last few months. I think I'm improving a lot. I'm viewing football in a different way. One that I haven't viewed it before. He tries to remind me of certain things in training. So, for instance, for instance, it's great that, for instance, he's learning from Pep already. He's looking at football in a different way. He's improving. So, for instance, anything can only get better. To me, I think it's a great signing. Really wanted to come City. His father wanted to come City. For instance, I'm really delighted to have him. Hopefully we'll see him on the pitch today. Okay, so, for instance, Pep Guardiola's conference. Right, okay. Bit busy in the first bit. I've just seen the second bit more open again on Kanji, whether he's going to play or not. Don't know. For instance, he'll say, we'll see. On the others, he shut them down straight away, even though people were asking about Ilden and Haaland and, John Stones and Nathan Ake, for instance. Nope, not playing. Edison, not playing. Boom. I believe Edison. I thought it was a hernia, for instance, or a groin strain or something like that. But according to Johnny at Typical City, he was saying it was a hip injury Edison's got. So I don't know. It was, again, he's very, very quick and sharp with his contact, but you got to read into them. But on Kevin in the future, on the contracts of people, for instance, whether perhaps how the importance of having the Champions League. But again, it's up in the air. If we have the Champions League, then we can spend. I think it could curtail if we don't get the Champions League. That's the way why it's the most important thing. I see Pep Guardiola every season, and he walks into the press conference with a big beaming smile, and he wants to go and they were asking why, and he said we qualified for the Champions League. He said his owners are delighted because we qualified for the Champions League. I think Man City owners, we have the money, but it will affect our transfer plan if we don't qualify for the Champions League. I still think we will, but it's going to be difficult. I think we've got these two games, Everton and Villa. I think we get something out of Everton today, and we've only got lost once in about 8 times now. We've lost in the first time, but other than that, we've normally beat Everton. It's going to be difficult because Moyes have gotten playing well. But for instance, with again, we need to get some out of the Everton game. A point, but I want 3 points. Again, I do believe the other teams will slip up just like they did last week. So, but I don't want to be depending on it. For instance, but then we've got Villa next week, etc., which is going to be a massive. It's probably the biggest game of the season, basically. So we've got to get some out of Villa. Anyway, so whether, for instance, so on the short list of of transfer plans. He doesn't like a big squad, but again, he said he's got to leave players at home. I can understand that. And he doesn't want a big squad. But I also understand that, for instance, it's the fact that, because he doesn't want disgruntled players. But because he's got 23 players now, he's got to leave, he only can take so many players to go away to Goodison. The only problem is that, for instance, we've seen how the fact that, for instance, if we have how many players we've seen on the bench of the spin squad we've been relying on academy players, or in certain times we've had 3 goalkeepers on the bench. So it's difficult, but it's difficult. You're going to play every 3 games. Again, we get injuries. We've still got a lot of injuries at the moment. Edison, Haaland, for instance, and Akanji, Stones, Phil's back, Akanji back, but again the training, but still, it is a real hard. I understand why he feels this way with a small squad, but unfortunately, it's all right saying have on a small squad and the older players, for instance, can go because they can't stay fit. But also, for instance, it can happen to younger players as well. They can get ACLs, they can get injuries. It's a difficult one. It really is. Jason McAtee, happy for him. Once he said he's staying, but I thought he was a bit coy in his answer, whether he wants to stay or go. For instance, I know McAtee wants more time. Well, let's see what happens. Right. For instance, blah, blah, blah. Let's just move on. For instance, Nottingham Forest on Morecambe Gibbs White. For instance, I think it would. I don't think it would be a. I don't want to pay 100 million quid for this guy. I think he's a good player, but he's not. He's not a replacement Kevin De Bruyne. I think you need 2 players to get rid of for Kevin De Bruyne. And for instance, I think he's a good player, Premier League proven. I've seen people saying he will be a good player for Man City. So, but I think he will be. So I'm not. I'm on this for Chelsea, and I definitely want to be paying 100 million quid for him. Right, okay, let's go have a look at the squad. And for instance, the lineups for today. Let's have a look. And I need a bigger iPad. Right, okay, so let's start with injuries. So Everton are missing Lindstrom, Mangala and Calvert-Lewin. City are missing a lot more. Everton's recent form. City are missing Rodri, Akanji, Ake, Stones, Haaland, Edison, and Foden. Again, we're seeing Foden and Akanji training. Whether they'll be fit enough for today, who knows? Whether they'll be on the bench. But we nice to see Akanji back. At least we've got another proper defender back. What's it called? Right, recent form. Again, for instance, we won the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We won 3, drew 1, lost 1. Again, United, unbelievable. Recent form, Everton, of the last 6, they've drawn 4, won 1, and then lost 1 against Liverpool. Playing well again, so it's going to be hard to break down. But for instance, let's see how it goes. The title, the table as it stands: City 5th position with 55 points. The biggest game will be Newcastle against Villa this week, and then Villa got to go play us as well. So it's still, but that's going to be difficult. Let's have a look at the starting lineups. Expected starting lineups for Everton: Pickford in goal, back 4 of Milcon, Branthwaite, Tarosky and O'Brien. And then with Ogana and Gue in midfield with centre mid at Duku. And then they've got wingers of Nadia and Harrison and Beto up front. City could line up Ortega in goal, with a back four of Nukuni, Kozanov, Diaz and Guayal. Again, for instance, it could change. With a centre midfield of Gundogan and Gonzalez. But again, we could have Kovacic in there, but we'll see how it goes. De Bruyne, again, he's got to start, and in front of Mamouche. And then to me, for instance, you've got to have Doku and Savina on the left and the right. That is mine. Starting on them, but Pep, Bernardo hasn't played for a few weeks, so we'll see what happens. Again, it's going to be a tough, hard game. Last game for them at Goodison back. What is my prediction? I'm going to go for a 3-1 Manchester City win. I think, for instance, we've got the players. I think we'll have to beat Everton. Everton are a good, hard side. But, for instance, I do believe, for instance, we can beat them. For instance, and again, 3-1, I just think for one, I'll give them a 1 because I think, for instance, I don't think they're a prolific goal-scoring team, but I just, but Manchester City can offer you chances. But I do believe, for instance, with the form of Mamouche and Kevin De Bruyne, as long as he, and for instance, we and Savino, hopefully, for instance, we can, for instance, win the game. Must win, absolute must not lose. I say it, must not lose game. But let's see. So for instance, could tell you more about what Pep's said, but again, it's all hearsay on a lot of things, etc. What he says to the media, you've got to read into it what he says. He's not going to say too much to the media because again, he doesn't want to create a headline. But again, it's a massive. We need to get to the Champions League. Simple as that. So Man City's transfer or the season will depend on whether we qualify for Champions League. So, sorry, Cat from Thailand. I will speak to you tomorrow. Last day of Songkran here in Pattaya. I'm in Jomtien, so this is away from Pattaya, so the water's splashing. And so I'll speak to you tomorrow. If you're going to the game, big up to you. Congratulations. Hope you have a good time. Don't get behind that post, you know what I mean? I've had some time in Goodison Park. It's not my favourite place. I'm happy to see it go, really. I had some really, really dodgy experiences with Cousin Stanley. Everybody knows what I mean. But but I will speak to you tomorrow, hopefully for 3 points and a win. And so we can go into weekend Aston Villa because again, if we don't get anything from today, it's a must not lose against Villa. Simple as that. These are and hopefully with Newcastle going to use a favour against Villa, but we will see. But we need to do our job today. Sorry, Cat from Thailand. I'll speak to you tomorrow and have a good day.